Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here today with day 21 of Junk Journal January, and our prompt is experimental. And I have been racking my brain about what I wanted to do. To be completely honest, I do a lot of experimental stuff, and maybe more experimental than kind of normal stuff. I don't know, but I'm always trying to like push limits in some way to like, you know, grow myself artistically. So today I'm also in this phase of wanting to use up a lot of art supplies that I've acquired over many years of being an artist who works in all different mediums. So this book is a Dr. Zhivago 1958 copy, the 23rd printing of this book, and it's just a very kind of plain and boring but lovely gray book that I've had hanging about in my stash, and I've decided it is time to do something with it. And as I look at it, I'm a little bit like, oh, it's such a nice gray, I don't know if I should cover it, but we're doing something experimental, so like, let's just do it. So the other thing I have that I want to use today is this. So these are pieces from like some kind of like a kind of mechano kind of building kit. So one day I was thrifting and I saw these and I was like, you know, these are really interesting and I want to do something with them. So I figure what I'd like to do with them actually is to make some kind of a mixed media journal cover with them. So I just want to cover the front because I'm very mentally attached to this like calm gray. So I'm going to keep some of it, but we're going to lose the front. So what I want to do essentially is like a layout of these on here. And what I'm going to do is first like glue them down. Then I'm going to put a bunch of like brads and or screws or whatnot through them, maybe some wire. And then I'm going to just be adding layer after layer of stuff because I want this to, I think, be kind of steampunky, sort of, not necessarily. I want it to be iridescent. I might put some copper wire through it. I don't know where I'm going with this mentally, but I'm just going to try to get started. So I'll probably just like start by, you know, choosing pieces like a bit of a puzzle and affixing them down on the book cover. And then I'll just add glue for now. I'll wait for the whole thing to be dry, and then I'll firm it up with like, you know, an attachment that's more sturdy for something like this. I've got these really big pieces. I would love to like use a part of this at least. So I think I'd be okay if it went higher than the book, but not lower than the book, if that makes sense. Like I don't want it to, because you know, if you were standing the book on a shelf, it's okay if everything is higher than the book, but not lower than. So let's like take a look, because you know, that would fit really good there, but I have to cut it at some point down here. And I think the way I'm going to try to do that is just like with a razor knife. This is like, what's the kind of wood? I forget, like a balsa wood kind of. So we'll see if we can cut it. And I don't know if I like this. I think I might like this a little better, even though it doesn't really fill in. Hold on, this might fill in. Oh, this fills in beautifully. Okay. I like that. Now, let's try to cut this in like a sensible place, like right here, okay? So that, whoopsie, so that piece will fit well, and then the other piece will still be useful. And I'm hoping I can use these big guys because they're kind of cluttering up my life. So I'm just going to grab a razor knife here. And I'm just going to move the book a little out of the way. Grab my glue book that I use for most projects when I want some kind of a foundation to do something dangerous on. So I need to cut this. And I need the line on the other side because, first of all, it is not straight. Let's try to make it a little straighter if we can. There we go. And because of this big knob here, I've got to hold it upward. So let's see if this cuts this. I mean, it feels like it's going to grip it. So we just kind of gently saw, and you know, a saw would be a lot smarter. I actually have a saw, a little saw, which is around here somewhere. I'm just looking around as I'm cutting. I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, I have like a little hand jigsaw. Hold on, is that it right there? Uno momento. Okay, I found this little saw. I don't remember. I think I got this at a thrift store. All my tools, like my regular tools, are upstairs. I don't keep this kind of thing in the studio, really. There's a reason, because, you know, I'm unattended. This is a really bad saw. I just want to say that. Can I just lay it down, maybe? You know what you should do after you watch this video? You should look for a video produced by the National Film Board of Canada, or the NFB, and it's called The Big Snit. And it is the funniest cartoon. It's about this couple, this older couple, who live together and they have some differences. It's actually kind of like a film that was made about, like, I guess, warning us about nuclear war. But it's humorous for me. And it's like the lady has this pair of glasses, or they're actually her whole eyes, but she can take them off, and they're like googly eyes and they rattle around. And so it's one of the pet peeves of her husband that she's always shaking her eyes. He's like, you're shaking your eyes here and you're shaking your eyes there. And his bad habit is sawing the couch, or sawing everything. He watches this TV show about like sawing, and so she's like, you're always sawing the furniture, and like, stop sawing the couch. So this is totally what I'm reminding myself of right now, with this like not having the right tools for the job kind of moment that we're sharing here. I am so close. This saw only moves in one direction. It's rusty, and the blades make no sense. The angle at which these blades are, I don't know what this was ever used for. But this is why, like, I need to stop thrifting crazy things. My husband would be, like, losing his mind right now if he saw me doing this. Okay. I tend to joke with my husband because I often do things that are very tedious, and he hates watching me do them. Like, he's like, oh my God, will you just hurry up with this? Like, you know, and this is exactly the kind of thing he would be like, there are 100 tools in this house that could do this job better, yet you're just choosing to do this way. And I'm like, yeah, because, you know, I don't want to get up and go find a tool. Like, why? And he's like, because it's tedious. Like, this is going to take forever. And he's right. And I'm kind of like, how long is this going to take? Okay, you know what? I have a better idea maybe. Hold on. What if we pick up the saw and we move the wood? Oh, look at that. Yes! Okay. Okay, we did it. Let's not cut any more of them, because I'm sure there's some part of you out there that are like, oh, this is making me uncomfortable. She's literally going to cut her fingers off in this video. That's the experimental part of it, to see how well her stitching, you know, her medical stitching is. This is what's going to happen to her. And you're probably right, so let's not go there. Okay, I got it though. I like this. All right. Okay, we'll use the smaller ones. Whoops, we won't use that one. All right. So let's just see. I want that there, so I'm going to be able to glue to, like, yeah, there. Okay. Okay. Well, that was fun, right? We got to use a tool. Okay. And I kind of want all the ones that I use today to have some kind of a hole in them, so that I can add hardware through. Okay, that was fun. I like the shape of that one. That's just cute. Let's put that there. Some of them have like little numbers on them, but I think we're going to probably lose that because I'm going to be adding paint. I have this whole like big plastic like tote of acrylic paints that have been sitting on my floor because I pulled them out of my pottery studio when we were doing a bunch of cleaning, because I'm like, I need to use these up. I have no excuse not to use them because I'm painting a lot these days. There's no reason I can't use them. And so they've just been hanging around. Oh, look at that. Ooh. That'll fit in there without me having to cut it. Let's do it. I kind of want to like find something that fits a little nicer in this gap. So like, look at the cool markings on that, but I think we're going to lose it when I add paint. But I guess I could be selective about like the painting process. We'll see. I'm trying to just get less attached to certain things. Like I was watching someone tearing up a vintage book the other day. And I was like literally stressed out by the fact that they pulled this delicious meshy book spine out and they threw it in the trash. And I was like, what are you thinking? And then like I was watching someone else who had some really beautiful piece of like dyed paper, and they were gluing it onto something, and then they just like took a bunch of it and, you know, like threw it away. And I was like, come on. But yeah, you can't be so precious about things. You have to make decisions, or else you end up like in your studio you have like 8 million things. And I'm actually not too bad at decision making. I'm just judgmental when I'm watching other people sort out their lives, I guess. I'm kidding. I'm not actually judgmental. I'm just like cringing because I'm like, ooh, I want that. Like, I think it's the magic of like other people's scraps. You're like, ooh, that would be cool to play with. Yeah. It happens. Okay. Let's see what fun hardware I've got kicking around in here. It's almost time to walk my dog. You can hear everybody puttering around upstairs thinking, when is she coming up? What is she doing down there? And I left my cell phone upstairs so no one can even bug me. I'm purely just alone and able to do whatever I want. And pretend that I don't know what time it is and that I have to walk the dog. I'll get there. I will walk the dog, or my husband will walk the dog tonight actually, because I had a super long day. I was on a mission to find new ice skates. I thought I could thrift for them, but I have these like very picky feet because I was a child who never wore shoes, and like I spent a lot of time as a barefoot wild animal child outside, and when you do that, your feet actually, like when you're unshod, as they say, your feet actually flatten considerably. So you get like pretty flat and relatively wide feet when you don't wear shoes. And like a lot, like when you're a kid, which is actually the natural progression of how the human foot just is without, you know, shoes. So it's kind of like not a big deal or anything, but yeah, skates are the one thing that I don't know, I get like really uncomfortable wearing them. So, you know, I was like, okay, it's been a long time, maybe I won't feel that way anymore. And so I went thrifting, and I did not find any skates that weren't like in pretty poor condition. And, you know, I'm not surprised because I don't buy shoes at thrift stores either. I'm too weird about it. Like, I don't want to get like a planter sword or something. So I'm just like, no, we don't buy shoes. You gotta be careful because those things are a nightmare, and I have stories. where is this video going? I don't know. But yeah, it's just a thing with me. And so I ended up going to like a sports store, which is like not my thing at all either. And there was this lovely, kind of lovely, kind of not lovely guy. He was okay. He was trying to help me, I think, for a little bit, but then he was like, I don't want to deal with this lady. So he was like talking to me about skates for a little bit, and then he kind of meandered off. So I don't know. I need someone who's like going to help me actually fit into a pair of skates, like figure out what feels comfortable, right? So I then decided, I'm like, forget this crap. I'm going to just like find a pair of skates online. I'm going to do this myself. So I did a bunch of research and I found what I think are going to be really great skates. And I actually also got to order them from a little Canadian company who is like making skates. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, they're nice. And I found this really cute pair of like iridescent silver skates that I almost got, and they were so cute, but they're not going to be as comfortable as the practical skates that I chose. So yeah, I'm going to be skating again. It's been a long time, but my daughter has fallen in love with skating after trying it just last week for the first time. She got her little self out on skates, and she was like strangely really okay at it. Like I thought she'd be falling down, and like, I don't know, sometimes people just have a knack for something. And like the people who were with her were like in the group that we went with, they were like, really? She's never skated before? And I'm like, I am as dumbfounded as you. Like, this is so weird. So she was having a great time. So now, of course, that means, you know, now I have to skate too, because you're usually at ice rinks like not allowed to be on the ice in your shoes. They gave me grace because I was helping to try to show her how to skate, but I know I was being a lawbreaker, so I won't do that again. Okay, so I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to walk my dog, relieve my husband, who I can hear upstairs. Things are becoming calamitous. For you, it will be no time at all. I will finish this layout maybe on my own. I'll come back and show it to you when it's done, and then I will find hardware. So, part 1. Talk soon. So the surface is all covered now. Half of this is dry and half of it is wet because I kind of split the work up into 2 sessions here. Now I think what I want to do next is decide what parts of this that I would like to put hardware through. I'm going to start with brads. Now I don't need to have them affixed to every piece here or anything, for a couple of reasons. 1, I think I'm going to do something with wire, and 2, they're actually firmly affixed already. So what I will do is just start by punching with my paper piercer some holes through where I would like to put some of these. So I have multiple sizes of brad, but I'm going to get started by using a large one and see how that looks maybe in the center here. So I will just poke a few holes and come back. Okay, so I have put the brads through just in sort of like selected places around on here, and you can see them on the back. So I think I also want to add an element of where I'm going to stitch with wire by poking little holes and kind of stitch some of these together. But I want to paint first and have the wire be on top of the paint because it's this nice bronzy kind of color. So I don't want to paint over the wire. So I'm going to select some paint and start working on this. Alright, so just a quick recap of what I've done here. So I put down the different kind of metallic colors with green and purple. I just left little bits kind of poking out. I didn't want a lot of that color, but I did want a bit. Then I added some silver detail and then gold, and then went in and just colored the cover of the book mostly in gold, blended a little of the purple. Then you know, the brads are all in, so you can see them here. So everything is dry now. So what I would like to do is add another layer now. So we'll grab this grunge box. For those of you who've been around here for a while, you've seen the evolution of this grunge box. So I have some acrylic sprays here in 3 colors. These are Marabou Art Spray. They're acrylic paint sprays. There's gray and silver, and this one I think is, yeah, petrol. So I just want to kind of add a little bit of spray to this as well, just sort of here and there. Now I may cover up I don't yet know what I'm doing with the spine, but I don't think I really want it involved in what we're doing here, so I'll just block it. Okay, so there's that. That's the, that was the gray, and then I'll take a little of the silver spray. Now we've already got some silver going on, so I don't need a ton, but it does give a bit of a different effect. And then this petrol one is lovely, but it has definitely has a clogged tip. So what I'm going to do is just kind of sputter it here and there. There's a sputter. It's like a bluey tone. I don't know why petrol is blue, but sorry for that little snip. I just had to change batteries. Okay, so I think that's enough of the blue, and I actually want to go back and dab it a little bit to remove maybe a bit and blend some of it. So I'm just going to use a baby wipe to do that. So I'm going to just come in here with a baby wipe and just kind of lighten the blue so it's not quite as dramatic. come in and blend, because I don't want it to overwhelm the overall color. And I can even spread it around a little more. Okay. I like it right there. I don't want to really mess with that one spot. But some of this I think is just a little too colorful, too dark. Okay. So one other point is when I was heating up with my heat gun, the acrylic paint, I was hoping to get a little bit of bubbling, because you can kind of do that with acrylic paint. You know, it's a plastic, so under heat it gets bubbly and you get a little extra texture there. So I think I'm happy with how this looks now. Now the other thing that I wanted to do was to use a bit of this wire to kind of hinge some of these together, because it would look kind of neat. So I just have to now untangle the end here a little bit. And we'll get a length of this to work with. Sometimes it's not clear to me what the right edge is, but we have one piece here that I've broken off. So what I'll do is, let me see if I can choose a spot where I would like to wind wire from. Let's start maybe in this corner. We'll go through here, this little hole. So I'll just poke the hole right on through the book. Just, you know, be careful not to hurt your fingers. We don't want any injuries. So that one to maybe, where do we want to go from here to, that's too close, maybe to here in this little square. So we'll just poke a hole there. Okay. Then I will poke this through so that we get the end in there. And then I need some kind of a tool to just wind the edge into a bit of a circle so that I can trap it in here. Like that. So then we can pull it right there against there and it'll be nice and flat. Okay, so then we're just essentially sewing, you know, so everywhere that we go we want to poke a hole. So that we can stitch with our wire. And you don't have to pull super, super tight. I think I want to leave it a little loose. And then I'm going to go back in through the original hole again. This first one I'm just going to pull tight enough to make sure I get the edge taut. There we go. So we'll stitch again here. The only spot you need it to be kind of tight is on the back, because you're going to be putting an end paper over that would have like probably a cardstock weight to it. So you can pull this direction and pull these up a little, you know, to give them a little bit of height. And then let's find out where I want to stitch from next. Maybe here. Here into here, and then maybe over to here. There we go. So I'm going to go in the hole, and again this is the one we want to pull a little taut so that it lays down. And you might get some little twists like this. You just gotta be kind of careful. I'm not like worried too much about it as long as it doesn't block the wire from heading on through the book. There we go. So give that a little tug. Okay. And we'll go through here. Back through that center hole. You can kind of stand it up a little and bend it. I mean, you could even pull it and, like, say if you wanted to, if you wanted it to maybe wind around here, you could do that too. You know, like you could actually pull it through here and wind it around different things on your cover if you have varying heights of cover add-ons. Something to think about. And then, you know, you can like loop it through on the outside to kind of give it more dimension. Yeah, so now we have this, right? And it's kind of crossing over in a different way. So then maybe I want to bring it, let's see, do I like that crisscross or don't I? I don't know. Okay, so give this a pull again. So I want to tighten that. I think I don't want that part to crisscross. So then I'm going to go back through the middle hole here until I feel like I just have enough wiring going on. So then what I might do is do a little bit more of this same technique and just add more wiring. I'll do that off camera and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like once I've got all the wire added. Okay, so I think I'm happy with the amount of wire that I have on here. So I went a little wild up here. I wrapped around this part that's sticking up over the top of the book and actually used the little slot that's in the wood. And then I made some more holes, came around, actually went over the edge of the page a couple of times. So yeah, that's going to make it a little more interesting. And I think I could even continue to add to this if I want to, but I'm pretty happy with it as is. I think that's a pretty fun experimental book cover. So hopefully I've inspired you to make an experimental book cover of your own. And that's it for me for today. I will be back tomorrow with more Junk Journal January. Take care.